I know, we're doing Knott's Berry Farm, so why are we in Calico Ghost Town? Because these two are connected. Walter Knott was born in the same time about the Calico being boomed. Now what happened is Walter Knott, when he was in his youth, came and worked here in Calico as a carpenter. He would help build the buildings, and he absolutely loved the Old West. So when he started Knott's Berry Farm, he's like, we gotta replicate this whole Western United States, the ghost towns, you know, the days of cowboys. He purchased Calico at that time. And a lot of the artifacts that are in Knott's Berry Farm, like the Calico Mine train, those are real things brought from Calico. He came here, restored Calico, and then in 1963, he deeded it to the county of San Bernardino. In 1942, Walter Knott is recorded as saying, whenever he gets some free time, his favorite thing to do is sneak away and go find a ghost town. He absolutely loved ghost towns, which explains a lot about Knott's Berry Farm. Why here? Why was Calico settled here? Well, there's two main reasons Calico was settled in this area. One, silver, and the other, borites. Now you might be asking yourself, what the heck is borites? Borites is a mineral that can be ground down. It's most commonly was used in detergent. You ever heard like borax, like detergent? That's what they used it from. And they mined a lot of it. It's estimated that over $86 million of silver has been mined here, and about $42 million worth of borites. Borax. There's the church. When Walter Knott started to restore Calico, he put every building right back where it originally belonged. He wanted to restore Calico to its former glory. So this is about as close as it really was back in its heyday. There are 5 original buildings still standing in Calico. Let me show you all 5 of them. One of them is right behind me. Boom! The park office, one of the original buildings. Right behind me is the Lane General Store, and that was one of the original 5 buildings that's still standing. And then across the street is Lane's household. And this is one of the original buildings, the original 5 buildings that were still standing when Walter Knott purchased Calico in 1951. I'm gonna take you into the Lane House Museum. This is where Lucy Lane used to live, and she worked across the street at the Lane's General Store. But as you get an idea, this is what it looked like, the house kind of looked like when she lived here. This is not a usual home. This is a very large home for somebody who's quite wealthy. There's Lucy Lane. Now back then they didn't have indoor plumbing, but as you can see, this room now has a toilet and a bath. When these started coming and started doing indoor toilets and bathrooms, they would just put them in whatever room was available for them. If you look, you see the roof is really slanted. This is probably a pantry or a closet, and they took everything out and turned it into a bathroom. This is how Calico looked in 1951 when Walter Knott started to restore it. You can see here the 5 original buildings. Right here, that's the park office. Then right over here, this is the general store. And then here, this is the Lucy Lane home. Over here, this is Lils Saloon. And this is the mine office right here. These are the only original buildings that were left in 1951 before Walt restored the whole Calico Ghost Town. Here's the kitchen in the Lane house. Check out that kitchen. Look at that stove and a butter churner to churn your butter. And then walk right here. This would have been like the parlor. Something fun to see here is these old antiques. That's a kerosene lamp, how they light there at nighttime. This, if you can believe it or not, that was a hair curler. They would heat that up and curl their hair. I mean, even back then, everybody wanted to look pretty. And then this here, this big like wire thing, this was a rug beater. You would go out and you would put the rug out and somebody would beat it to get all the dust. You're like swap, 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 getting all the dust off of the rug. They didn't have vacuums, that's what they had to do. This is another one of the original 5 buildings that was still standing. This is Lils Saloon. Now, if you look at it, you can see it's kind of done with like an adobe here. Poor thing, I don't know if Amanda's gonna be able to get in here. I'll show you why. Babe, I don't think you can go in.
You are the worst.
No spitting, no drunkenness, no loose woman.
Chris, you're the worst. You're the worst.
Original saloon right here, Lils Saloon. Oh my gosh, you guys, you got old-fashioned dill pickles. Get one of those for Amanda.
No. Chris and Miles are going to order a boysenberry soda.
And as you can see, they have a gun right above the bar, which is what they used to do in the olden days in case somebody came in and caused a ruckus.
Like a loose woman?
And with one pickle.
We'll find the biggest one for you.
She's giving me the biggest pickle.
Uh-oh.
Amanda's gonna be thrilled. Miles took my pickle.
Dad, I decided I like pickles.
Yo, you like pickles? Let's see.
Just like the 1800s used to make?
Here we are inside Lils Saloon. Originally in this building, it's one of the five buildings that are still standing when Walter Knott started to redo Calico. It's made out of adobe mud. The building was originally, though, not a saloon. It was a pharmacy, and it's got one of my favorite jokes of all time. On the very top of the roof, when you go outside, I'll show it to you, it says Dr. A.R. Rhea. Diarrhea. This was operating for a pharmacy for about 3 years when it was found it'd be much more profitable being a saloon. It became a saloon where they had gambling and also drinks for the drinkertons. Plus, they have an old roulette wheel that they had here. I'll show that to you in just a second. There's the roulette wheel, and you can see it was a single zero. There's the zero, and you look very closely, you can see it's a little bit of green for the single zero. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you one of the best jokes here in all of Calico. Ready? Check it out. Gotta look up. So remember how this Lils Saloon first started as a drugstore, right there? Dr. A.R. Rhea. Diarrhea. Even then they had sense of humor. Okay, hey, careful. It says caution, baby rattlers. You look inside. Wow. They're little baby rattles. Those are rattles for little babies. It's a joke. Miles like, he's disappointed. He wanted to see some baby rattlesnakes. Calico truly was a boom town. It opened in 1881 and it hit its peak in 1887 when it had 2,100 people living here. 2,100 people lived here. They had 22 saloons in the heyday. That's one saloon for every 54 people. They also had a red light district. That's where men would go to look at red lights. And also they had the post office, they had a sheriff, they had a church. I mean, it was like a huge town at that particular time. Here's what happened. Gold was a price of $1.31 per ounce. And almost overnight, the price of gold dropped down to 61 cents per ounce, more than half. Equivalent kind of like, you know, like people like maybe buying the stock market, maybe like if you bought Dogecoin, it went way up and also just drops down. You're holding the same amount of silver, but now it's worth way less. After the price dropped down to 61 cents per ounce, this Calico just couldn't sustain its livelihood and people moved on. During the heyday, there were over 500 mines here in Calico. 500 mines for like what, 2,100 people. That's like 4 people per mine. Get in there, you scurvy dog. We're locking him away for misbehaving. You'll never be able to get out, Miles. You'll never be able to get out of jail, ever. You're stuck forever. You can never get out. Or, you got out. This here is a hearse carriage. It's very similar to the one like they have in front of the Haunted Mansion. You can make a day of it, come out here to Calico and just see it. It's a lot of fun. Replica Ghost Town. Miles is having a great time, so is Amanda. And there are some activities that you can even do once you're out here. So apparently this is a mystery spot. It's just like this haunted spot, and it makes people taller and smaller. Miles is not gonna be walking. Oh, there he goes. Did he just get taller? He just got taller. Go back and be shorter. He actually made himself shorter. Apparently, I'm just the right size for this coffin. My hair touches. This is the last original house that was standing when Walter Knott reconstructed Calico. It's the Zenda Mining Company. And again, you can see it's done with this adobe like mud that was made out of, you know, mud. Let's go and take a look. You can see the walls there. Look at this, it's crazy. That's how people lived. All right, let's go for a tour, come on. We are about to do the Calico Odessa Railroad. Just bought a ticket, train should be coming any minute. Train's coming into the station. We chose the caboose, of course.
Good choice.
Woo! Oh, we just took off.
Miners from Calico's heyday. We would like to welcome you aboard the Calico and Odessa Railroad.
Howdy there, folks. Y'all please stay seated as we take a ride together along the backcountry of Old Calico.
These are little mining shacks. The miners would live in these little shacks, little tiny. You see that white rocks right there? Boom. That is a marker to let people know this is my area, not yours, stay away. I've already staked a claim here. Right here is the Calico Mine, the Silver King Mine. That mine produced about $10 million in silver. One of the most profitable mines here in Calico. We're now gonna go into the Maggie Mine. This is a real mine with some crazy history. This is a true mine under the rock of the mountain. We're gonna walk down here and show you a bunch of cool things. This has been one of their ladders that they climbed in and out to get in this mine. It's crazy. And over here is a drill. Drilling away. This mine is splits. This is called Dead Man's because they went down there and they really didn't find anything to stake a claim, so it's called a Dead Man's because nothing was found down there. This mine is the Maggie Mine. So in 1916, the Mulcahy brothers, John and Maurice Mulcahy, came and purchased this mine and they renamed it the Maggie Mine. Now the reason they renamed it Maggie, because at that time there's a really popular song about a girl named Maggie, so they named it Maggie Mine. Oh! I just got scared. The heck out of me. Okay, anyways, these brothers, they bought the mine and started mining it in 1916. They lived here the rest of their lives for about 20 years. The one brother died in 1932 and the other brother died in 1943. And this was their house where they were mining. Crazy. Miles says he's gonna lead the way down to Dead Man's Bluff, or corner, I guess.
Dad, I can see in dark.
Oh, you can see in dark. Okay, good. Here, this is a chute. This is an ore chute, and they use a system of bells, and you listen to different bells, and they would ring the bells. If you had three bells that go bing, 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 that meant that this chute was gonna be open and rocks were gonna come down this chute. This chute here, this is chute number 2, and they did this with 4 bells. If you heard 4 bells coming down, boom, you need to get away from this chute because rocks are gonna come tumbling down. This is called Dead Man's Drift. And if you look here, you can see the miners are down there. I found out the reason they called this Dead Man's Drift is that there was no shoring. They didn't put anything there to make the walls stronger or make the ceiling stronger. It was much more dangerous to work here than it was in the tunnels. Plus, they hardly found anything here, so people are like, it wasn't really worth it to be mining down here in Dead Man's Drift because the danger was so high. Miles is there just taking control. I'm like literally walking like a duck walk with my head down low because I keep worrying I'm gonna bump my head on the ceiling. So now we're gonna go this way. You see where they started to dig out holes here, here, and here. It is much, much cooler, probably about 20 degrees cooler in here than it is outside. It feels really good, almost like air conditioned. This is called the Mulcahy brothers. This is where they lived. This was their house. Check it out. You can see right here, they had like a bed over here, and like a little stove and a table. And this is where they literally would come in here and sleep and eat, and this is their house. And if you look, they have like a picture of Looks like their mom maybe over there on the wall, right over there. Can't believe this. Can you imagine living like this for 20 years? This is just what they did. This here is called the Glory Hole, because they found over $65,000 worth of like silver here. Now, by the time that they had the Muhaha brothers had purchased it, most of this had been already mined out. They didn't really find a lot after they bought it. But prior to that, you can see the totals there. Keep in mind, the Muhaha brothers, they didn't buy this place until 1916. This is a replica of what it would look like if you came to the mine back in the days. You'd find a miner all by themselves with a sledgehammer. They'd either be like chipping away at a silver vein to make it break loose, or using a sledgehammer and like a drill bit, pounding it in so they could blast it. They would literally put like dynamite and blast it. How scary would that be? And this is the exit. What a view, what a view. Woo. Got hot again, just getting outside that mine. Got very, very hot. If you look right there, you can see that's the King Silver Mine. This was the most famous mine in all of Calico. And then right down here below that, you see this like slag there? That slag there, that is where they brought in the dirt and the minerals from the mine where they make it a mine and just dumped it there. It's estimated right now in that slag is $1 to $2 million worth of silver. Now I know a lot of you are like, oh my gosh, I gotta get up there. But the problem is in order to process and get that silver out of that slag, it's estimated to cost between $2 to $3 million. So yeah, you'd lose money. You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. This is one of the very last fully operating mine towns in the western United States, and it would not have happened if it wasn't for Walter Knott, who had a huge, huge love for mine towns and mining culture and the cowboys. Because of his youth being a carpenter working here, he wanted to preserve it and bring it back. That is why this is actually here. If it wasn't for Walter Knott, this would have gone the way of the dodo. When you're in Knott's Berry Farm, you can see some of the artifacts that Walter Knott brought from Calico to Knott's Berry Farm. So make sure you go check that out, particularly that Calico mine train. Check that area out.
What in the world?
My official Calico mug.
An official Calico Mug.
Filled to the brim with boysenberry or sarsaparilla.
Whoa. Is it frozen?
No, it's a lot of ice.
Just icy?
It's freezing cold though. Oh, heavy. It's boysenberry. Believe it or not, I actually took a gold panning class. Yeah, like, you know how you do those community courses? I did one called gold panning. The most effective gold pans have rings, the ridges in them, so when you scoop them out, the heavy minerals stay down, the dirt goes out. So when I took my gold panning class, what you do is you go in, you scoop up the dirt in your pan, and what happens is you gotta go is shake it, and then you go into circle motions. The dirt is lighter and it goes out. The heavy metals, the gold, if you got silver or whatever, that sinks to the bottom. So you keep shaking, 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 having the sediment that gets it all out there, and then the gold flakes and flecks and nuggets should be remaining in the pan. We're gonna see if Miles gets lucky. Okay, I gotta get the tie ready because you're gonna scoop up a whole thing of dirt in your pan. And you're gonna shake it. Shake it like this. Yeah, see, good, you're doing really good. Kind of circle motion.
2 hours later.
Ooh, I see a bunch. I can see a bunch in there. That? Look at that.
Wow.
There it is.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. I got enough to feed the mule and probably enough to get me addicted to come back the very next day back in the...
Exactly. You as well, y'all.
Gold fever, right?
Gold fever. This treasure trove.
You got some gold.
Now really what we got was called pyrite. Pyrite is also known as fool's gold. And pi stands for the Greek word for fire. Because pyrite, you can actually use it. It's one of the metals you can scrape it against another metal and it'll cause sparks, like a tinder. Gold doesn't do that. Well guys, you're the ones that sent me here. Here's how it works, is we always do 3 weeks worth of Disneyland videos. Then on the 4th week of the month, I go to whatever park you want to send me to. And what park won? Well, that was Knott's Berry Farm. I felt like I couldn't do Knott's Berry Farm's history justice without coming all the way out here to Calico. So, if you want to vote on the next month's park where should we go to, go look at the community tab. There'll be different parks listed there. It could be a baseball park, a water park, a theme park, a national park, and whichever one wins, I will go there and do the history of that particular park. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you know, and like it, share it, make a comment, say silver.